We like talking about Ivy Leaguers and reading about them. Ivy League refers to prestigious American academic institutions like Harvard, etc. So people who go to these colleges like Harvard Business School to get an MBA and stuff like that are called Ivy Leaguers. Ivy League being the top, meaning the top academic institutions in the US. Similarly, in India, we have our own Ivy League. We have the IITs, IIMs, even IS. The best people, supposedly best, la creme, the cream of the cream, gets into the IITs or IIMs or IIMs after IITs, and some become IAS officers. And we like reading about them, their achievements. The media is always talking about them. We gush about their pay packets and salaries and their meteoric career growth. We lionize them, we fete them. We talk about how they have done so well, fantastic achievement, fantastic pay packages, and stuff like that. But what do these people actually do when it comes to their contributions to society or to the country or to the system at large? I don't think they do much. I mean, they do very well for themselves. They go to these fantastic colleges, business colleges, MBA programs, engineering programs, the best in the world, best in the country. Administration, IAS officers are is the great North Indian dream to be an IAS officer. Kind of dreams of many people, becoming a Sarkari officer, highest echelons of government service. And what do these people do? They get good jobs, very good jobs. The IIT, IIM, Harvard types work in the private sector. Even the starting packages are fantastic. In India, many of them graduate in India and then go abroad. We talk of brain drain and all that. They get fantastic packages by multinational companies who take them abroad, overseas and all that. So they do very well for themselves. Some of them eventually become CEOs of large, big companies. And that's probably it. I mean, they do well. They rise to the top of their profession. They rise to the top of their companies and lead their companies. Fine. But do they do anything fundamentally transformational? Something radically different? Something revolutionary that transforms the world, the society, the country? More often than not, they don't do that sort of thing. Not much. Very few cases, I think. So I always found that these people were conformists. People who got into IIT, IIM types were not mavericks. They were not rebellious. They were conformists. They didn't challenge the system. They didn't create a new system. They didn't create a new paradigm. They basically got advantage from the system and rose to the top of the system. But they didn't fundamentally change the system or put in a new system in place. And so that way I always have been feeling that their contribution, personally they have done well, but when it comes to objectively speaking, their contributions to, since they are some of the best people, best brains, highly talented individuals, fantastic IQs, maybe they could have done much better for the world, for the society, for the country, but they don't do that. And I have found them to be conformist. They conform to the system. They don't go against it. They don't rebel. They don't challenge anything. They're not mavericks. And I always wondered why. I always wondered why these people do not do that. And I've realized that that is because they have no incentive to rebel against the system. Because the system rewards conformity. If they were mavericks, they wouldn't have gone inside the system. They wouldn't have done what the system demanded. They would have gotten out. Somebody would say, hey, the system says, look, you study hard. This is the entrance exams that the system has given. You sit for the entrance exam, and the system will reward you by putting you into the best possible college. You do well in that best possible college, and then the system again rewards with fantastic campus jobs and all that. So they have been following the system to do well. They didn't go against the system. They didn't say, I don't want to appear for these entrance exams. I don't believe in entrance exams. I'm not going to go into the so called best institutions. I don't like this classroom thing, four walls of a classroom. I'm going to get out of this rut. I don't want to go into this race of competing for entrance tests and sitting for the entrance tests and trying hard and preparing hard and doing well in those tests and getting into the best colleges and doing well in those colleges and landing, competing to get the best possible jobs. But that is designed by the system. That is what the system wants them to do. And system incentivizes, the system rewards them if they do it well. So they have done well simply by obeying the system, not by challenging the system. So it is not in the DNA kind of, or the thing that they have acquired or learned over the years. So the brightest brains have learned that to succeed in this reasonable manner, moderate manner of personal success, they should follow the system, they should conform to the system, they should do what the system expects them to do, and the system will reward them handsomely. The system does not reward mavericks, it throws them out. The system does not recognize or reward or understand rebels and mavericks. So there is no percentage or incentive in being a rebel or maverick. Then you are out. Then you don't get into those best colleges and get those fantastic pay packages. So you are trained like that. You are tamed. The wildness of your nature is tamed. And then little small wonder that these people are going to be conformists all their lives. They are not going to go and do something groundbreaking or path breaking and challenge something and go against the establishment, or bring, not in a destructive manner, but do something fundamentally, radically different, transformational, with huge positive impact. Whether you talk of IAS officers or IIT guys or IIM guys or Harvard people, most of them learn how to understand the system, follow the system, follow the procedures and rules of the game, and following that they rise to the top of their professions and do well, very well for themselves. But that's where their contribution stops. The actual brains that they have, the remarkable talent that they have, they could, and if they had done something different, if they had taken the rebellious route, they could have perhaps contributed much more. I mean, they have the capacity, but they don't do that because the system has kind of trained them that way, and they have seen that this is the way they have taken that route to success, personal success and personal careers. So they are careerists. So I understand now why my problem that I wasn't able to understand, that why these best people are not non-conformists and are not mavericks, but are simply conformists. I'm clear about that. And I think to some extent that's a pity, because we need, these people have fantastic abilities and brains, and if some of them got out of this and did something different, and then the world would see fundamental transformations, radical changes, positive, radical, huge impacts. They could use their brains and talents to make fantastic changes in the world, create a bigger impact in the world than just drawing a fantastic pay package and becoming CEO of a company. That's fine. But there are other things which create bigger impacts on society. And you could do fantastically well, and you could be remembered for centuries. You could do work that doesn't end once you are gone. There could be an enduring legacy of things that you do. People like Verghese Kurian, and you remember these people, that they did transformational things like the milk revolution in India and stuff like that. So Personal career success and becoming the CEOs is fine, but you could do even bigger stuff for the society, for the country. Maybe not make enough that much money, but you could make a huge impact, a lasting impact, a massive transformation you could bring about. People will remember you, and you could, become, let the world, make the world a better place. And these people generally don't do that, and that's a pity. So I think some of them, if some of them got out of this, it would have been better. But generally, that doesn't happen. That is the way this thing works. And generally, sometimes you see that major contributions are made by outsiders, people who are from not from within the field, who've been in that particular field of management or business for years and years. They get used to the whole thing. They fall into a rut, and the real change is brought in by an outsider, because he doesn't carry any baggage. He can challenge anything. He can ask stupid questions. He can look at it with fresh eyes. And sometimes these people really uh, make disruptive changes. And these disruptive changes, I don't mean in a negative or destructive sense, but in a positive sense. And they bring in something much more bigger and much better than the earlier thing. They replace the earlier paradigm or model with a much better, fantastically improved model. Revolutionary kind of a thing. Revolutionary in a transformational sense, not in the sense of bloodshed and all that. Not gradual, but rapid, drastic, big changes. So that is an issue, and even there you have the interesting case of dropouts doing very well. The other example is again slightly different. People go into the system, but they don't complete the requirements of the system, and then they drop out. Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos and Sam Altman, all these guys were college dropouts. They got into these Ivy League colleges, but they didn't complete the program. So they, at one or some point of time, they dropped out of the system, and then they were able to make huge contributions. And we know them, we remember them. They are the people who made major changes possible. So the system rewards conformity, and that's the reason. And so while we get excited about somebody getting into IIT, IIM, Harvard, and the media goes gaga over them, and there are articles about fantastic pay packages and all that, I don't see the big deal. Good for them, bully for them. They've done well for themselves. His career is made. He will do well, retire rich and all that. But what does the country or the society gain out of it? So why does the media always fete them and lionize them? It is their life. They've done well for themselves. Good for them. What does it do for others, for society at large, for the country? I'm not against this. I'm not saying that they shouldn't do that, and we need people like that also, and we need good people running companies, and that is also required. But why do we get so excited about them when it comes to really making fantastic changes in society is not something that they have done or do? So why do we get so excited and talk about them all the time? Individually, it might be a good thing for them. They do well, they are rewarded, and life is good for them. Name, fame, success, whatever they get, money, fine. But that is a personal success, personal career. Doesn't what about the others? What about the rest of us? What about the rest of the world, the rest of the society, the rest of the nation? What is their impact on that? That also needs to be questioned. So it's good that there are bright people who do well and the system rewards them and they do very well. But I think if that brightness could have been, I wish that brightness could have been used in other areas where it was needed. Like best brains don't pursue science, they go into engineering because there is no money in it. So again, conformity, or motives are different, goals are different, motivators are different. career and success and money is more important than making fundamental contribution or seeking truth or discovering something new. So these are heroic tasks and tough tasks. The other route of career success, personal career success, is not really very heroic, so to speak. So they are, I would call them character role artists rather than heroes. Heroes can be tragic, can be truly heroic. Heroes can be martyrs and can be really, champions. Both possibilities are there. Heroes suffer tragedy also, and heroes get glory also. Whereas these guys are supporting, fantastically good supporting actors. They are not true heroes of our society, the Ivy Leaguers. Uh, that is basically because they are the brightest in the lot of the lot, as everybody tells us, because otherwise they wouldn't have got into highest IQ and smartest thinkers and very analytical and very critical thinking and good at all that and all. So they are the brightest of the lot. But then, did the society get the maximum advantage out of them? They themselves did very, very well for themselves. But what about the rest of the world? That's my question. So I don't have anything against them, but this is just an observation, something that I was thinking about. And as I said, in the beginning, I had this nagging question that why aren't these guys mavericks? And then I thought about it, and that is what I came up with. That being maverick wouldn't have got them where they are. So the system rewards conformity; it doesn't reward mavericks, and that's a problem. In a way, it's a problem. In a way, it's not. They are doing well. That's nice. But if a bunch of them did something different, and if they could come out with fantastic solutions for mankind, for the country, for society, and all, that would be good too, isn't it? Thank you.